Just 3 weekends remain in the 2022-23 Indiana High School basketball season. And tonight we come to you from Middleetown, Indiana, as two teams in Class 2A looking to hit their stride and get themselves ready to go for postseason play the first week in March. Alongside Jim Leisure, Rob Brown with you tonight at the home of the Raiders, Shenandoah High School. Shenandoah 7-10 taking on 9-10 LAPEL, and LAPEL about to be intro, Jim. And again, both these teams trying to get some momentum here down the stretch as just 3 weeks to go. Both teams having 4 to 5 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, you said it, Rob. I mean, again, Shenandoah is in the Mid-Eastern Conference. They really do not have a chance to win it at this point. They are 2-4. LAPEL's independent, so there's no conference implications to really worry about. At this point, you're just trying to prepare for the tournament.
So LAPEL coming off a loss to a very good Heritage Christian team led by Miles Colvin, the Purdue recruit. That was on Tuesday night at LAPEL, a 27-point loss, 70-43. A little deceiving in that game was tied at the end of the first quarter before Heritage Christian outscored the Bulldogs by 27 over the final 3 quarters. LAPEL was unable to overcome 17 turnovers in that game. And anytime you're going to play as LAPEL, a 2A program, playing a team that has a top 100 in the country player in Miles Colvin, you're going to be in for a tough night.
Without question. You know, one of the things, they do have a fantastic signature win, though. They are 9-10. They beat an Oak Hill team just about a week before that Heritage Christian game by 10, and Oak Hill's 14-2, so there's something there. They just need to find that consistency and get it to come out.
Lights have been cut here at Shenandoah for the introductions of the home team. Shenandoah has not played in 8 days. They played last Thursday night, went up to Fort Wayne and beat a relatively new program in Smith Academy. That was their largest win of the season, 71-29. Raiders shot 64% from the floor and hit 12 three-pointers in that game.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to beat the Celtics when you shoot 64%. And, that's impressive. So, again, obviously, if you're Shenandoah's coach, you're hoping that some of that is still in the tank.
Quick look at the starting lineups. Jaden Cash, Nick Whitty, the Judge twins, Brody and Bodie, the 2 leading scorers for the LAPEL team, and Matthew Carpenter for LAPEL. That's the 5. There's Rick Ellsworth, the head coach of Shenandoah. He'll start Zane Mitchell, Jared Hellman, a couple freshmen. Kenyon Troxel, one of 2 senior starters alongside Carson Brookbank and A.J. Demick. And Rick Ellsworth in his first season here as the head man, 7-10. Kevin Cherry, his opposite number on the LAPEL bench in his first year with the Bulldogs. After a year out of coaching, he had a year at Madison Grant and went 19-4 before coming over here. Center circle will set to go. LAPEL clad in the road blacks with the gold numerals and lettering. Shenandoah in the home whites, navy lettering, and numerals trimmed in gold.
You know, one of the things that you noticed right at the tip was the height advantage that the Bulldogs have. You got 5 players 6'3" or taller, and Shenandoah only has 1 in the 6'3" category.
Shenandoah again starting 2 freshmen. Brody Judge, 3 at the top. Long rebound is corralled by Troxel. Both of these teams average under 50 points a game, so we can read into that potentially that a little bit more of a deliberate pace tonight, potentially.
You know, the young man there that just got the rebound, Troxel, in the last ball game that we had Shenandoah here on 9 Star TV as the first turnover of the game goes to Shenandoah, but really stepped out. He was averaging about 4 points a game, and I think he had about 12 and had some great rebounds, and I think he impressed the coach. So, again, he did not start. He came off the bench. But every now and then, if you don't like sitting on the bench, go out there and show the coach he's playing the wrong guy.
Nick Whitty, swing over. Jaden Cass attacks from the left side. His layup is short, but he's fouled. And he'll shoot it twice, 1 minute and 1 second in. You'll notice purple in the stands, purple on the benches. Tonight is a fight cancer night. Purple the theme. Foul went to Demick. Demick, the leading scorer for Shenandoah, averages 9.5 points per game. Cash, the left-hander, tosses in the first free throw.
Pretty good from the line there. He shoots 73% coming into the ballgame.
Only senior in the starting lineup for the Bulldogs. They start a senior, 2 juniors, and the Judge twins, who are sophomores. 2-0 our score. Pell on top early, and Shenandoah turns it over. So 2 possessions, 2 turnovers for the Raiders And boy, when you look at the numbers for Shenandoah coming in, Jim, 17 turnovers a game certainly jumps off the page. That's tough to overcome.
It really is. I mean, when you think about it, even if those are just 2-point possessions, that's 34 points you're leaving on the table or giving to the other team. And both of those were over and back, two very different varieties. One, the ball just kind of got loose and very casually went over there. And then that one there was more of a stepping back over.
3 at the top. This time, Brody Judge knocks it down after missing the first. Leading three-point man coming in at 33 a game, or 33 on the season. That's 5-0. Troxell's got down the baseline. And the second block of the possession was Jim Leisure saving our equipment on the baseline.
Yeah, I was hoping to keep it. You know, like in baseball, if it gets in the crowd, you get to keep it. But apparently you don't do that here. I was just trying to save the monitor. Man, that's a $32 monitor. I ain't lying.
Great block by Carpenter. Make that Bodie Judge, on the block shot.
You know, one of the things LaPel was doing, I mean, on made buckets is they're just really pressing full court trap, very aggressive. You know, they can read the stat sheet too. They know that Shenandoah doesn't handle it well.
Brookbank's follow away is good. And the first 2 points of the game for Shenandoah, and a little full court pressure by the Raiders off the make. Broken easily down the baseline. Carpenter lowered the shoulder, and he's called for the offensive foul.
Well, that's the way the game is officiated nowadays. It has been obviously for several years, but you know, if the officials feel like the offensive player drops the shoulder, creates the contact, you no longer have to be set necessarily like in the old days, and you see a lot more offensive fouls now. You see a lot more flopping too, but that's, again, just the way the game is officiated now.
Johnny Howard has come on. He's got the basketball, the third freshman in the first 6 to see the floor for Shenandoah. Great jump off to Troxell, and he put it in. Nice pass by Hellman as he was falling to the floor, and Troxell's able to finish.
So like you said, Shenandoah says, you know what, you can press, so can we.
And stepped out of bounds did Brody Judge. He caught it on the far sideline. First turnover of the game for LaPel.
Yeah, that was awfully close. I don't know if we'll get a shot out of it and see where exactly was, but we'll see if we can get his foot. Nope, we're back to live action.
So after LaPel began the game with 5 straight, Shenandoah has countered with 4 in a row. Looking for its first lead. They run Howard off a double screen. No space to shoot, though, as Whitty closed out. Troxell's got the right side ISO'd if he wants it. Brookbank puts up a quick 3 around and out. And Cash brings the rebound quickly the other way. Down the baseline. Judge left his feet. Brody Judge left his feet. Collided to the defender on the pass. That time the defender was not set. Was underneath the bucket. Get a good look at that here on the replay. That's Troxell sliding over.
Yeah, again, he just kind of flipped that hip out a little bit. I think he was set, but then he tried to move into the path of the offensive player.
Quick catch and shoot 3 off the inbounds for Cash is around and in. Second 3 of the game for the Bulldogs. 8-4 the score, nearing the halfway mark of the first quarter. Brookbank open for 3. That's long. Rebound ricochets off the end line and go back to LaPel.
Good call there. It looks like the ball was off of Johnny Howard last there.
Dead ball, though, does give Shenandoah a chance to set up some pressure. Both teams have shown that here in the first quarter. Whitty weaving. Down the baseline out of a double team. They feed the post again. It's poked free. And good hands by Troxell. Hit ahead, and the layup is converted by Zane Mitchell, leaking out.
Mitchell averages about 4.5, so he's a kid that can, you know, that's one thing about the Shenandoah team. They don't really have anybody that's going to really go off and score 25.
And LaPel turns it over against the pressure.
They do have about 8 kids that can get 6 or 8, you know, and so you don't really key on anybody, and it's just a matter of who's going to get hot. We mentioned before the last time that we were here with 9 Star TV, you know, Troxell got really hot, averages at the time 4, and ended up with 12.
And you don't often see many teams that do not have one single scorer averaging double figures.
Post pass deflected away and stolen, so teams trade post pass turnovers. And Whitty hands to Brody Judge. Back to Whitty.
And we talked about LaPel having a height advantage. You really haven't seen them other than maybe one time really try to take advantage of it.
Parker Kissinger, number 33, is in. 6'4" senior. Talk about that height. And a turnover out front as Brody Judge traveled.
So I have LaPel with 4 and Shenandoah with 3. So honestly, a little bit of a sloppy basketball game. We're just past the halfway point of the first quarter.
That's a pretty high number,
yeah.
4 minutes in. 8-6 the score, LaPel on top. Dimmick back in the game, gives to Brookbank, and he throws a pass into the fourth row.
You could attribute some of this to inexperience. Neither team has a ton of senior leadership. LaPel has 3 seniors on the roster, and Shenandoah has 2. And we're talking about kids that get the majority of the playing time. So a lot of young people out there, but still, though, if I'm a coach, I'm going to say, fellas, we got to slow this down.
Open 3 by Judge is short. Brookbank taps the rebound to his teammate Mitchell. Yeah, Shenandoah, 3 of their top 6 players are freshmen. Brookbank attacks, finds Dimmick at the arc, and he got it. Johnny Howard on that 3, and you heard Johnny Howard call for the basketball out on the arc as Brookbank got in deep, and he found him. Shenandoah has its first lead of the night.
Yeah, Johnny Howard was a young man his arm was in a sling the last time we were here. So nice addition.
And Bodie Judge loses it off the baseline.
Yeah.
Kevin Cherry just walks down his bench and stares off into space as his team turns it over again.
Yeah, you're going to see it right here. Just a little sloppy play and a little bit of contact there, and ball just gets away.
Shenandoah has scored 9 of the last 12.
Very unfortunate situation there because we had a fan really on the court, and that ball hit the fan, hit the young lady, and they called it out of bounds. She did have 1 foot out of bounds.
She did. Wow.
I don't know the ruling on that, to be totally honest with you.
It goes down as a turnover.
It did, yeah. That's all I know too.
9-8 the score. Shenandoah on top. Final 2 minutes of the first quarter. Whitty's open for a high arcing 3 that's short. And the rebound run out of bounds. Carpenter tried to tap and keep it in, but he couldn't do it. And Shenandoah gets it back. You see, got a quick glimpse there of Rick Ellsworth clad in a resplendent, I think that's lavender sport coat. That's a tremendous sport coat that Coach Ellsworth is wearing.
Yeah, you got to be a very confident man, I think, to wear that.
Absolutely.
And he is. He's a good-looking kid.
He's got a vest, matches the pants to go with it. Looks great. Howard in deep, got into the traffic, and the ball squirts loose to the baseline. Carpenter able to get it out of trouble. And up the floor quickly they come. Bodie Judge attacking the basket, put it up and in. Brody Judge, he's got 5. And the Bulldogs back in front. Howard out of the double team, had it poked out of bounds by Whitty, or Cash rather. Stays with Shenandoah.
And that's the way probably it should have been. I mean, there was a little bit of contact there. Could have been called a foul. It wasn't. Ball goes out of bounds via LaPel, so they get at least Shenandoah gets to keep the basketball.
Gabe Simmons is in for the first time for LaPel, the 6'1 senior, number 24. And Landon Reddick, number 33 in white, is out there for Shenandoah. Junior, he's got it at the left arc. Demick ISO'd. Defense by Simmons. Demick running off a screen, catch at the wing. And a pass dumped down. Hellman thought Reddick was going to flash to the baseline. Reddick stayed in the block, and the pass was turned over.
Again, I am for 7, so on pace for 28, which would just be absolutely horrendous.
Simmons out front to Brody Judge, who leads all scorers with 5. He's the only player for either team with multiple field goals in this 10-9 first quarter. Final 30 seconds. Cash on the drive, put it up and in with the left hand. And Cash with 7 to lead all scorers. Final 20 seconds. The lead is 3 for the Bulldogs. Trap on the sideline, Reddick tipped and stolen away. Leaking out Judge. He's got time to get to the rim, bounce across the paint to a wide open Cash who lays it in. And a heave off the backboard wide to the right, and that'll do it. So LaPel in a turnover-plagued first quarter for both teams. LaPel scores the final 6 points of the quarter and takes a 14-9 lead into period number 2. Stay tuned, second quarter next. You're watching Indiana High School basketball on 9-Star TV.
My name is Patty Potty, and I'd like to talk to you about all those kinds of convenience products. People are flushing down the toilet, clogging up our sewer system, and causing expensive repair bills. They might flush down, but they sure don't flush out. Make sure you trash them. Don't flush them, only flush the 3 P's. Pee, poo, and paper. Toilet paper, that is. And remember, no wipes in those pipes.
This important message was brought to you by 9-Star Connect, your water and sewer provider.
Back at Shenandoah alongside Jim Leisure, Rob Brown with you. Appreciate you spending part of your Friday night with us. Just 3 weekends remaining in the Indiana High School basketball season. Hard to believe it has gone quickly. There's Coach Bob Hetty, Hall of Famer, who was the man at the controls when Shenandoah went to the Final Four in 1981 in the one-class tournament. And you walk into this gym, drive into this town, and you get a feel, Jim, for what it must have been like to be in this town and a school this small to get to the Final Four of the Indiana State tournament back when it was a one-class tournament.
Yeah, I remember it again. I was a sophomore when that happened, and that was a big deal. People all over the state were excited about the opportunity for another Milan miracle. Now, they did get beat by Vincennes Lincoln in the morning game. Lincoln ended up winning it that year, but yeah, it was an exciting time to be in Henry County, that's for sure.
And that was the smallest school, I think, to get to the Final Four since Milan from an enrollment standpoint. First shot of the quarter trickles off the rim, but nice hustle by Demick to keep the possession. Lobby finds Reddick in low, but Judge puts it away on the baseline.
Well, Demick's a guy that he's just one of those hustler guys, gets a lot of offensive boards. He's going to keep possessions alive just as he's done this one.
Brookbank. Quick 3 by Demick is off the side of the backboard and taken the other way by the Bulldogs. Judge twins are out there, Brody and Bodie, along with Carpenter, Simons, and Cash, the 5 who finished the first quarter. High-low lob in deep to Carpenter, out of the double. Judge fading, his shot is short. Good defense, good block out by Reddick, who's out there with Demick, Brookbank, Mitchell, and Hellman with it in the corner. Brookbank knifing through the lane, and his runner's up and in.
Well, he got the home roll there.
Brookbank coming off a 17-point, 10-assist game last Thursday night when he went 7 for 7 from the floor. He has 4. Carpenter sidesteps the defender, lost it off the inline, but Brookbank touched it last.
Shenandoah with a line change there. 3 players in. You're going to see the replay here as the ball's just going to get away. And
yeah, Brookbank poked it out.
Yep.
Howard and Troxel have returned for the Raiders. Our first look at Hagan Tomlinson, number 30 in white, 6'3", a junior.
Yeah, he is the size for Shenandoah, and he's in there banging it around right now.
Yeah, he's got some bulk as well. 3 out top is off to the right. And the rebound caroms off the inline, last touch by Bodie Judge.
I think Coach Ellsworth saw that they were going to, because it looked like both these possessions, they have tried to get the ball inside. And so he's like, well, if you're going to play inside, I got to get somebody a little bit bigger.
Demick got to the rim and put it up and in. May have gotten fouled as well as Cash stuck a hand in. Demick's first 2.
Yeah, you do see that foul called a lot. It's just the reach. It's just the fact that he reached in. And I do think he got a little bit of the offhand, but not enough for the official to feel that there was an advantage.
Screen roll, Whitty reverses the ball over to Simons. And a nice job by Bodie Judge to get in low and draw a foul. Just 2 free throws shot in the first quarter, both by the Bulldogs.
So Tomlinson comes into the ball game and picks up a foul, but again, definitely LaPel trying to get the ball inside.
Bodie Judge, first free throw is good. And his twin brother Brody checks back in for Simons. Second free throw short. And Howard corrals the rebound.
You know, truth of the matter, Rob, is neither one of these teams shoots the ball particularly well. When you look at their statistics from behind the arc, at the free throw line, they're all right, but they're not really good.
Tomlinson, good pass out of a double team, but Brookbank short-armed the short 8-footer. He was kind of in between range there. Had to get it up quick before the double team responded. Pass dumped in and stolen. Howard saw that one coming. Dimmick wants it. Got down the baseline. Quick reversal. Out front, 3 for the tie. He's fouled. Howard fouled by Whitty on the closeout. And that'll bring 3 free throws.
That's a good call by the wing official over here on the side. I wasn't sure it was going to get called. The contact was a little bit late. You're going to see it here. Ball's away, and right there. Now, from that angle, it didn't look like much, but from where we're sitting under the bucket, there was clearly contact.
Howard's first free throw is long. He's a 68%er on the year. One of 3 freshmen who plays a lot for this team. It's a second free throw.
Shenandoah as a team shoots about 64% from the line, which is all right. It's
That's
not
kinda,
good.
yeah.
I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not good.
So Howard goes 1 for 3, allowing LaPel to hang on to a 1-point lead. Dump in low, the pass deflected, but Carpenter's height allows him to keep possession of the basketball. Out to Cash for a 3 that's strong. And Troxel outlets it over to Demick. Brookbank turning face. Back out to Demick, top side. Brookbank 3 for the lead is short. Tracking for the rebound, Howard with a jump ball call, and the arrow will go back to LaPel. The tie-up occurring right in front of the Bulldog bench.
Nice offensive board there.
Yeah, Howard was first to it. He just ran out of room.
Yeah. And Shenandoah, that possession, really had great ball movement, good screening. Just came up with an empty
Tomlinson
possession.
forced off the block by, or Carpenter rather, forced off the block by Tomlinson, and then Judge loses it on the end line. Well, both of these teams, bulk of these turnovers, Jim, it seems like have come within 4 feet of the basket.
Yeah, neither team impressing any college coaches tonight with protecting the basketball, that's for sure. I have the LaPel 4-7 turnovers, and Shenandoah with 8.
Troxel. Brookbank gives it back to Howard, top side. Tomlinson goes away from the screen, reverses to Demick. Howard drives, turns, and shoots. Too strong with the 8-footer. And the rebound tapped to Judge, Bodie Judge, up the left side. Tomlinson took the hit. He was waiting on him. Tomlinson takes the charge. Bodie Judge foul his first and the team's third.
Yeah, you're going to see it here. Great work by camera crew, and like you said, he anticipated that whole thing. He said, this young man's got a look in his eye like he's going to the rim, and I'm going to try to slide in there, and he got there just in time.
To your point from earlier, Jim, he was set long enough. That would have been a charge back in the old days.
In the old days, yeah, even when I played, yeah, when they never called it. You had to almost be shot.
Ball knocked free and stolen away. Carpenter's got the loose ball. It's another Shenandoah turnover. But the Raiders are right in the ball game, trailing only by 1. 3:05 to go first half. Quickly moving first half. Not a lot of fouls called. Not a lot of stoppages. Whitty down the lane. His finger roll's too strong. Tomlinson, who's given the Raiders some good minutes off the bench, gets a tough rebound in traffic. Now he sizes it up left edge.
Now, I don't want to be real negative on this whole turnover thing, but again, it's just not very good basketball. Now, luckily for both teams, really, the other team's not even better at it than they are, and so that's why it's a close game. Normally, when you have this many turnovers early, you're going to be down 8 or 9 points.
Shenandoah slowing things down. Hellman tried to drive it. Not there. Brookbank attacks. He'll take it to the rim and flip it in. And Shenandoah has come back to regain the lead.
Nice job. Tough shot in traffic. And again, he just laid it over the front of the rim, decided not to use the glass. That's, to me, the hard way to do it. But if you're good at it and you're used to doing that in practice, it becomes your shot.
I believe, Jim, this is the first time we've seen zone from Shenandoah tonight.
Yep, I think you're right. Yeah, because I was watching earlier. It was definitely man-to-man on both sides. A lot of screening, a lot of cutting.
2-3 look. They lose track on the baseline of Kissinger, but the ball knocked out toward the wing, and it's saved on a nice hustle by Hellman. Now Shenandoah. Tomlinson has Hellman in the corner, and they settle in and reverse it. Demick inside 100 seconds to go first half. Shenandoah up 1.
Now, you talk about stoppages of play. Neither coach has used a timeout, and again, to me, a lot of times when you have this many turnovers, you're gonna call timeout. Talk about it.
Oh, and Brookbank tosses in a 3. He scored 5 in a row, and Shenandoah has its biggest lead of the night. 4-point advantage.
If I'm coaching, I'm going to call timeout because I'm tired of watching it. Just give my eyes a break.
Kissinger on the baseline. Open for a swing 3 is Whitty. It's a rainbow that he tosses in. Whitty's 18th 3 of the season. His first points of the night. Kevin Cherry asking his team for a stop. A little bit of a trap, but they've got a zone look as well, but they're trapping the ball on the sideline. Trying to use some of that length to turn them over, and they just did. As Kissinger jumped the passing lane, hit ahead, Judge to the wing, put it up too strong, but he drew a foul on Brookbank. And the turnover leads to a run out for the Bulldogs and a chance to regain the lead with 2 Brody Judge free throws.
I like what he does here, though. He catches the ball. He knows exactly where he's going to go. He's going to go up there, lay it hard off the glass. If he gets fouled, hopefully he can finish at the rim. Now the foul was too hard, but he has an opportunity here to convert.
37 7/10 remaining in the first half. Free throw too strong.
Brody shoots 78% from the line and just kind of clanked that one.
Leading scorer, averaging just over 13 a game. Averaged 10 points last year as a freshman. Had a 36-point game against Muncie Burris last year. Second free throw is good. Ties the game at 19, our first tie of the night.
LaPel stays in that trapping press.
Each team with plenty of fouls to give. Dimmick's open for a 3. That's too strong. Brookbank with a weak side rebound. And a timeout. Yep, timeout called by Rick Ellsworth. I wondered what his reaction was going to be to that quick 3, and then when they got the offensive rebound, I think he was sensing another quick shot was coming, and he burned the timeout.
Absolutely, and a good one, I think, there, because you just want to kind of slow it down, make sure that, you probably, I think there's 26 seconds left to play in the half, and you want to make sure that you're going to get either the last shot or, you'll take a layup if it's there, before the end of the half, but probably set something up where they can get started at about 10, 12 seconds. That way, if you miss, you might get a chance for an offensive putback. But, yeah, it looked like it was just going to go right back up, and then LaPel would get the ball and go down the other way.
But you want to be situated where, worst case, you're going in tied.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And, again, what I would do is try to set something up where I actually get started at about 10. And, again, if I'm going to set my screen and kick it out and get the shot up, if it bounces off the rim, maybe I get a rebound there. Now there's 3 seconds left. I can put it back up and in. But I want to give myself 2 shots at this if I can.
Mitchell baseline right. Brookbank's open for 3. And it glances off the hand of Hellman out of bounds. Well, Brookbank missed everything but the backboard. I'm not sure that's the shot they wanted.
I don't know that they wanted it there. I mean, he shot that with about 22 seconds left in the half, and that's, in my opinion, too early. We're having all kinds of problems with fans here. Got a ball in the court.
Yep. So LaPel has plenty of time to get a good look up. 18 and 6/10 seconds to go.
Yeah, and now everything I just said earlier, you say about LaPel, you want to try to get the ball obviously past the 10-second line. We're kind of going the wrong way.
Well, Shenandoah has fouls to give too, so they could just wrap up to avoid a shot. Down the lane, and Carpenter flips it up and in. Still time. Demick's heave. Well, that looks on line when he let it go, but it's long off the backboard, and that'll do it. So Matthews Carpenter's bucket in the final 4 seconds of the half stakes LaPel to a 2-point advantage, 21-19, as Shenandoah outscores LaPel in the quarter 10-7. But it's a 2-point lead for the road team at the break. We'll take a break. We'll step out. We'll come back here toward the end of halftime with you and take you up to the start of the third quarter. For now, LaPel leads 21-19 on 9 Star TV.
Nine Star is very focused on customer and member care, focused on making sure that however we communicate with the member and customer is how they want to communicate.
You know, sometimes we're the one person that they speak to in a day, and you want that conversation to be happy and pleasant.
As a nonprofit co-op, we're focused on providing the best service we can for our members.
9 Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
Back at Shenandoah High School in Henry County, Middleetown, Indiana. And LaPel leads this one 21-19, just about set to start the third quarter. Along with Jim Leisure, I'm Rob Brown. John Painter heading up our fine crew with us tonight. Certainly the story, Jim, in that first half was turnovers, as both teams had trouble hanging on to the basketball, and LaPel was able to keep it a little bit better under control, and as a result has a 2-point lead.
Yeah, I have Shenandoah with 10 and LaPel with 7. And again, throughout the course of the game, when you're trying to score buckets and you're trying to keep track of everything else, I may have dropped 1 or so for each squad. But, yeah, again, if you're going to have that many turnovers, you got to hope and pray that your defensive pressure can at least create just as many on the other side to keep yourself close, and that's exactly what both teams have done.
Shenandoah will have the basketball to start the second half. Carson Brookbank has 9 points to lead Shenandoah. Jaden Cash with 9 to pace the Bulldogs. Original starters on the floor for LaPel, likewise for Shenandoah. Both teams operating offensively toward their respective benches. We're on the baseline, closest to the LaPel bench.
Interesting to see how LaPel comes out. Looks like man-to-man initially, unless it's some kind of matchup zone. We'll see. Oh, it is.
Dimick out of the pressure. A diagonal passing to Troxel. Brookbank, he's been the aggressor in this first half. Lost it on the way up. It ricocheted to Troxel. He tried to redirect it and lost the handle. Whitty, who hit a 3 in the second quarter, cut off out front. Cash with the basketball, the leading scorer for LaPel. He averages 7 a game. He has 9 tonight. He's got it back on the wing. Pass in deep to Bodie Judge in a triple team. He tried the reverse, and he drew a foul. Looked like he put himself in a bad spot, and he was able to work his way out and get 2.
That's a good description of it, Rob. I mean, sometimes, again, you get yourself in that bad spot, and then the other team kind of bails you out by fouling. That would have been a difficult shot for anybody to hit. I think I would have just kind of laid back and let him take it.
And he couldn't get the roll on the first free throw. Hellman takes the foul, his first. Yeah, that was right maybe 12 feet from our position on the baseline. And when I saw Judge under the bucket with those 3 defenders, I thought, how's he going to get his way? How's he going to make something out of this? Missed both free throws, but Carpenter with a nice offensive rebound hustle. And then the pass deflected and stolen by Hellman. And then he had it knocked free on a collision to the other end. Brody Judge scoops up the loose ball and dunks it down. Rick Ellsworth wants to know why that wasn't a foul against his freshman guard who got knocked to the floor.
It's kind of like in baseball, when a pitcher's just all over the strike zone, just everywhere. He's in, he's up, he's out, and then he hits the black, and now he wants the call. Honestly, when you've been playing as sloppily as Shenandoah has, I mean, they're just probably going to assume it was just poor ball handling like it has been all night. It may have been contact. I'm not saying there wasn't. But you kind of sometimes play to the level of the calls you're getting.
That foul went to Cash, his first, and the team's first. Shenandoah looking for his first second half points. Brookbank tries 3. That's long. But run down on the baseline by Troxel, his second offensive rebound of the quarter. Dump in deep to Brookbank. He tried the reverse layup. Troxel's got another offensive rebound, but he rushed the shot. And it's finally cleared out of there by the Bulldogs.
See, I think he thought he was going to get fouled. He was expecting contact, so he went up hard. He overshot the bucket. Should have used the glass.
Long 3 is good by Brody Judge to follow up his breakaway dunk. He's got 5 straight. Rick Ellsworth wants time. He is more than a little frustrated, both at his team and the officials, as LaPel has its biggest lead of the game, 7.
Sometimes a coach will call a timeout, not so much to talk to his kids, but to get that opportunity to get that last word in.
So a full timeout. Both teams will have a seat, and we'll stay here. LaPel has begun this second half on a 5-0 run to lead by 7, biggest lead of the night. Glad you're spending part of your Friday night with us. The 9-Star crew will be back on the road next Friday night. This same Shenandoah team will be in the Road Blues next Friday night here on 9-Star, taking on the Arabians of Pendleton Heights. Jim will be in his customary catbird seat for that one alongside Brendan King.
Yeah, these two schools just probably, 12, 14 miles apart there on US 36. So I'm sure even though two different classes, Shenandoah in 2A and Pendleton in 4, still a little bit of a rivalry there.
Absolutely. So we'll have that for you next Friday night here on 9 Star TV at 7:30. Brandon King and Jim Leisure on the call from Pendleton. See what the Raiders can get out of the timeout. Brookbank out of the double. Dimick down the baseline, back to Brookbank. Pull up on the baseline, he got it. Brookbank very aggressive offensively tonight. He has 11, first player for either team. First Raider to get to double figures. Rebound, layup is short arm by the Bulldogs, and Hellman's foul on the rebound by Carpenter.
That last offensive possession by Shenandoah, we've seen that several times tonight where they're just moving the ball around. You're going to see the foul coming up here. The ball's left short, and there's Carpenter just kind of player displacement. But Shenandoah's moved the ball well. They got good cutters, they got good screens, and they get pretty good shots when they're not turning it over.
Troxel in the corner. Ball reversed. Hellman bounces to Troxel on the baseline. Nice cut, but he couldn't finish it at the rim. And Hellman tried to tie up Bodie Judge. Instead, he'll get called for the foul.
Yeah, you're going to get that call. He's reaching in, and then he just kept doing it, too. I mean, I think the official kind of gave him one.
Right.
And then he just kept doing it. And so you're going to watch it right here. So he's reaching right there. He's got, and then you see his hand's clearly on his elbow. I mean, it's like at some point we got to call the foul before we do the autopsy.
Raiders stay in that 2-3 zone that they showed toward the end of the second quarter. LaPel lead is 5.
And see, again, sometimes at this stage in the season, you're going to work on defenses and things of the teams that you have to beat in your sectional.
In the corner, Judge measures 3. That's long, but his twin brother has got the offensive rebound. He put it up and in. Brody on the miss, Bodie on the putback. First field goal for Bodie, and it's 28-21. Nearing the halfway mark of the third quarter. Troxel's pin in the corner. They get it out. Brookbank finds Dimick for an open 3. That's short. The rebound comes right back to Mitchell at the foul line, and he tossed it in for his first second half points.
Again, good ball movement, good shot. And they got a little bit lucky on the offensive board that went long.
Whitty dribbles into the corner against the pressure. Carpenter out of the double team. Judge run off the three-point line. Wheels to the goal, and a blocking foul called on Brookbank. His second and the team's third.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the same thing there where, yes, he was set, but then as the player went to the rim, he kind of moves his hip out into him. You're going to see it right here. He's standing there, and then he kind of just give him a little bit of a shoulder there.
We've seen a couple times tonight where the player who's driving, even though a defender's been set, as the player who's driving leaves the floor, he's been able to glide his body and make the contact not square chest to chest.
Sure.
And you're less likely, to your point, you're less likely to get that call.
Right.
Brody Judge leads all scorers with 12. Make it 13 as he connects on both. He's made 3 in a row after missing his first back in the second quarter. It's a 7-point lead for LaPel. Halfway through the third quarter. Cannon Case, first time we've seen him tonight, number 10 in white. His first touch at the top. Now he's got it back in the left corner. Measures 3. Too strong. Hellman had the rebound poked away. Too much size. Here comes Brody Judge up the floor, and he throws it away. Bodie Judge looking for his brother Bodie and turn it over. LaPel got in a little bit of a hurry that time. But the Bulldogs lead by 7. Only a 5-point advantage rather here so far in the third quarter. Howard driving, missed the layup, but he drew contact at the rim. And he will shoot just the 4th and 5th free throws of the night for Shenandoah. He shot the first 3 of the night on a 3-shot foul back in the second quarter.
Good job of beating the defender basically off the dribble and then working through the contact. And again, unfortunately, could not convert.
Simmons takes the foul. Nick Whitty's back in for Carpenter for the Bulldogs. One more for Howard. That one is good. He averages 6 off the bench. He has 5. 30-24. And the shot blocked by Case. Case blocking Cash in the lane, making an impact. Brookbank dumps it in deep. Hellman throws up a wild shot. And Whitty comes the other way.
Just one of those things where he was out of control and then kind of got off his feet and had nowhere to go, and he just threw it up.
Cash down the baseline. Kicks it out. Whitty's open for a high arcing 3, and he rainbows it in. Got a high arc on that shot. He's hit 2 tonight. And the lead is 9, a game high for LaPel, 9-point lead. Case backs in, no space. Out to Hellman for 3, and he answers. Jared Hellman, the freshman, just his 7th 3 of the season.
And you talk about all the freshmen that Coach Ellsworth has on this team. If that sounds familiar to Shenandoah fans, about 5 or 6 years ago, former coach Dave McCullough started like 4 freshmen and brought 2 off the bench. And they really set that team up for a deep run when they were seniors. And they were able to get to the regional, but couldn't get out of that.
But they kept alive that string. They had 6 straight years where they won at least 20 games.
Yep.
And there's Simons on the baseline with his first 2. Minute and a half left in the third quarter. The LaPel lead is 8. The halftime lead for LaPel was 2. Kevin Cherry down in a crouch in front of his bench watching his team defend. Howard trapped on the sideline. Cash poked it out of bounds. Tomlinson comes on, replacing Brookbank, who departs with a team-high 11 points for Shenandoah.
I kind of like Tomlinson. He's again, the only inside presence, really. Although Case has got a little bit of size to him, too. But Case doesn't play a lot.
And the ball thrown away right to Brody Judge. He's got defenders in pursuit. He missed the layup. His twin brother Bodie, though, has got the offensive rebound. The second time he's rebounded his brother's miss and put it in.
I have him with 6 boards.
And 5 points. The lead is 10. First double-figure lead of the night. Inside a minute to go. Hellman fakes a 3. Pull up on the baseline is around and out. Simons on the rebound. Brody Judge calls for it up the floor. Down the baseline. He's fouled on his way there. Mitchell reached a hand in and fouled him.
Yeah, that last possession just unfortunate for Shenandoah. A really good ball fake. Got 2 defenders in the air. Had a good open look at it. Just didn't fall. You're going to see the foul here. The push was right there.
So Reddick has come on. And Troxel has returned for the for the Raiders, rather. Brody Judge fighting in down low with Tomlinson while Whitty works the perimeter. Brody Judge tees up a 3, and he got it again, his second of the quarter. He's got 10 points in the quarter and 16 in the ball game. Call it 14, 14 in the ball game.
Yeah, LaPel just seems to be kind of flexing their muscles and separating just a little bit kickball.
The lead is 13. It's a 19-8 advantage in the quarter. Dimmick's back in for Shenandoah. Hellman over to Mitchell. Tomlinson with 8. Mitchell with 5. Cut off at the arc, falling away. His shots around and out. Whitty's got the rebound, and he'll hold it to the buzzer. It's a big quarter for LaPel, 19-8. The Bulldogs outscore the Raiders in the quarter. We'll step out for a brief pause, come back, fourth quarter's next. You're watching Indiana High School basketball on 9-Star TV.
Who knew that 9-Star Connect, a local smart utility, has the fastest internet in Indiana? 9-Star offers speeds up to 2 gig. That's upload and download speeds. Try getting that from any other provider. No data limits or caps on speed. The speed you pay for is the speed you get. 9-Star has state-of-the-art fiber optics with a dedicated line to each house. 9-Star Connect, Indiana's fastest internet. Who knew?
Alongside Jim Leisure, Rob Brown with you back at Shenandoah High School. LaPel leads Shenandoah 40-27. And Jim, we talked at the top, and it was evident from the layup line before the game even started, LaPel's height advantage. And we talked a couple times in that third quarter about how Shenandoah rushed shots around the rim. And you wonder how much cumulative effect that size disadvantage they're in at the rim has played into their low field goal percentage tonight.
I think it does wear on you eventually over the course of a 32-minute game. And, it took to me, LaPel a little bit of time to realize, why don't we just bang it down inside? They can't defend us down there. We're going to get good looks. If worst case scenario, we're going to get fouls. Neither team really in foul trouble. Shenandoah with 4 and LaPel with 3 in the half. But, it took them a while to realize they had that. I mean, I'm sure they knew it was there. They were just probably working on other things.
Down the baseline, a twisting layup in traffic is good by Brody Judge. He's got 18 by my count.
That's what I got.
His board says 16. I think he's got 18. As it stands, it's a 15-point lead, biggest of the night. Foul called in deep on LaPel. See where that foul went.
Simons, I believe, is who they're giving it to.
Okay, yep. His second. Team 4. Both teams with 4 team fouls.
Simons, the former Pendleton Heights Arabian, a couple years ago was playing at Pendleton.
Okay. Demick at the arc. At the Tomlinson gets a high screen. Bounce to Troxel on the baseline.
If you're Shenandoah, obviously you're looking for good shots, but you got to remember, clock's ticking.
Reddick in the paint, backed his defender down, but shot was missed. I think Judge might have gotten a piece of it.
Simons came up with the loose ball.
Well, you heard Kevin Cherry as his team runs offense in front of him. He just yelled 4 corners.
Yeah.
So they're going to take the air out of it a little bit, spread Shenandoah out, and look for layups and easy ones here.
That's exactly right. Layups and just wide open threes.
Carpenter in a double. And Cash got a running start. He's caught red-handed on the travel right in front of the LaPel bench. Kevin Cherry says, let that baby fly. Cash has hit a 3. He had 9 points in the first quarter and has not scored since. Won his senior point guard to take that shot.
And now here's the deal with Shenandoah. This possession starts with 6:40. Last possession, they used about 40 seconds before they even really looked for a shot.
Tomlinson in the corner. Brookbank's back in for the Raiders. Troxel's cut off.
And nothing wrong with being patient, but you're down 15 and the clock's ticking. So,
ball swung to Demick. Fake the swing now into Troxel. Called for it in low. Good dump down to Brookbank, and they get an easy one.
And again, just good ball movement, good cuts. Smart basketball. When they've got the ball, they just got to learn how to protect it.
Brookbank has 13, the only Raider in double figures. And Cash will hold it. Wait for Demick to come out and initiate the 5-second count. The clock is LaPel's ally at this point, up 13 with 5:45 left. Whitty jump stops to the baseline. Ball swung to Simons. Cash holds.
Got to keep moving if you're LaPel.
A lot of. Oh, they called an illegal screen or a clear out elbow on Carpenter.
Yeah, they're saying that he hooked him there a little bit.
Yeah. So Carpenter's third and the team's fifth. Let's take a look here. Yeah, he might have.
A little bit.
A little bit, yep.
Again, it's one of those deals where advantage, disadvantage. You know, if you do that maybe out by the free throw line, no big deal. When you do it right underneath the block, they probably going to call
Yep.
it.
13-point advantage for LaPel. Brookbank attacks into the lane. Turns and shoots and draws a foul at the doorstep on Brody Judge. His first and the team's sixth. Brookbank shoots 2.
He does shoot about 74%, so this is an opportunity to get a couple here while the clock is stopped. If you are going to climb back into it, this is how you do it.
It's been their best score tonight. First one on the way, good.
He's got a nice high arc on that free throw too.
I think he actually left his feet. Let's watch this again. I think he left his feet on a jump shot.
Yeah, like a jump shot. I've seen people do it. You don't see it often. Kind of hard to see if his right foot came up, but that's close.
So Brookbank has scored 4 in a row. 42-31.
You know, Wilt Chamberlain, notoriously horrific free throw shooter, tried everything. He tried jump shots, hook shots. He tried shots from the corners, tried underhand shots.
Yeah, oh yeah. Whitty fake 3, lost it, stumbling down the baseline, and he traveled.
Coach Cherry wants an explanation. You're going to see it here on the replay. I thought he walked there, frankly. I mean, I would have called the travel out here in the corner. I kind of understand maybe Coach Cherry's a little bit, but as he was getting rid of it, or as he was falling to the ground, he was getting rid of it.
Well, Coach Cherry wanted to make sure the spot where his...
Yeah. This is always kills me. You know, we live in the greatest country in the world, and yet for some reason in every high school gym in America, there's only one towel. And it's like they hide it under like the bandstand.
There's only one towel in the entire gym.
Yeah, exactly.
There's about 1,100 people in here.
When we live in a country where we could have a towel in every corner. Whatever.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
No.
42-31. Inside 5 minutes to go.
And again, I don't care if you have one towel, but just have it handy. You know,
have it available.
Yeah, like the challenge flag in the NFL, you
know where it is. Hellman cut off at the elbow. Brookbank's been the leader scoring-wise. Gets it back from Tomlinson.
Honestly, they're just taking too much time between shots. I mean, you're down. You need shots.
Hellman gets his defender off his feet and got to the rim on the avenue. All 5 of Hellman's points have come in the second half. They've trimmed a 15-point lead down to 9. The time's starting to draw a little bit short. Still 4:15 to go. LaPel has not scored since the opening possession of the quarter. They've been scoreless for over 3 minutes now.
Yeah, and credit the Raider defense. I mean, that's the thing they can do here. I mean, they can ratchet up the defense a little bit, try to force the turnover, go down and cut into this lead. Because LaPel's clearly not necessarily trying to score. They'll take it if you give it to them, but they're not in any hurry.
Cash out top. Home crowd chanting for defense. 3:35 to go. Cash lobs into Carpenter. He's in deep, and he put it up and in. Well, they ran about 40 seconds off the clock, and they closed the possession on a 3-footer by their junior forward, Matthew Carpenter.
And that's, of course, what they want to do. They want to get about 40 seconds of each possession.
And Brookbank tosses in a rainbow 3 to make it an 8-point game. Brookbank 7 in the quarter and a season-high 18 points tonight. Timeout called. Timeout called by Shenandoah. We'll keep it here.
And, of course, very good timeout there by Coach Ellsworth, and he's going to probably set up at least a three-quarter court press, if not full court. Try to steal another possession.
And that's the quickest possession they've run this whole fourth quarter.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, they got down there, they got set, and they got a good look. They fired it up there. And they got 3 points and only, maybe 8 seconds off the clock, 10 seconds at the most.
And thank you to Coach Ellsworth for calling this timeout, because at the conclusion of this timeout, it appears as though the Shenandoah cheerleaders are going to pepper this crowd with 9-star T-shirts.
How about that? Well, I do wear a youth medium, so if they're going to chuck one over here.
Carson Brookbank with a season-high 18. He's got 7 in the quarter. 3:14 to go. And the 9-star T-shirts go flying into the home crowd. That last possession took just 6 seconds.
Okay, yeah, and that's how you get back into it. The other two took almost 40 seconds apiece.
Oh, no question, yeah. 9-2 run for Shenandoah after the Raiders found themselves down 15 early in the fourth quarter.
A little surprised Shenandoah didn't come with a little more pressure there to just try to create a turnover and steal a possession.
Hayden Hubbard is in, Hayden Hubbard is in to give some fouls, number 40. The 5'8 sophomore. All knocked out of bounds. Into Whitty. Cash handling topside against Demick. Judge into a double team. He's cut off. He turns wheels and he rolled it off the rim. So the Raiders get the stop they were looking for. Hubbard down the baseline, got himself in traffic, and he drew a foul. Oh my. I'm not sure what his plan of attack was, but he earned himself a trip to the line, a chance for the Raiders to score with the clock stopped.
Yeah, just another bailout, basically. And again, the reason the foul's called is because the left hand comes down.
Yep.
If he goes straight up, holds his hand straight up, they don't call that.
Bodie Judge with the foul, his second, but the team's 7th. So Hayden Hubbard knocks in the first free throw. One more can make this a 2-possession game. 2:28 to go. At the 7:10 mark in this fourth quarter, Shenandoah trailed by 15. Now finds itself only down 7. And Hubbard can make it 6. And he got it.
Both those really good shots. Great backspin, no wasted motion.
And credit to Hubbard. This is a kid who's been sitting the entire game.
Yeah.
And they just plugged him in. He's guarding LaPel's leading scorer at one end, and he gets 2 big free throws at the other. 6-point lead. Shenandoah has 2 fouls to give, or 3 fouls actually, before the Bulldogs are in the bonus, and then a backcourt violation as Whitty throws it in the backcourt. And over and back, the Bulldogs turn it over. I think Kevin Cherry wants time to settle his team down. First time out he's called tonight. We'll keep it here, but now Shenandoah with 2:09 to go has the basketball down 6.
And we'll see here, Coach Cherry's going to say, it was touched again right there by LaPel. That was Carpenter there that got it before it went over the 10-second line. Coach was saying, hey, the ball was tipped. Yeah, it was, but then your own guy touched it before that. So.
And our next broadcast, Shenandoah against Pendleton Heights. I want to make sure your hair is teased as high as Brendan's is in this graphic.
I was just getting ready to say, if I had hair like that, I'd never leave the house, man. I'd just stay home and just look in the mirror. Look at that wig. That's nice.
Yeah. Youth is wasted on the young, as they say.
Man, oh, man.
2:09 to go.
Of course, Brendan, a local celebrity, the play-by-play voice of the South Bend Cubs.
No question.
Cubs affiliate.
No question. His wheelhouse season is right around the corner.
Yep. Got himself a big old championship ring last year.
Ball knocked free, and LaPel gets a steal. Timeout. Kevin Cherry was on it. So credit to the Bulldogs. After turning the basketball over, they forced the turnover right back and have it with 1:57 to go.
Yeah, again, just kind of answering a bad play with a big play. And very smartly and wisely called timeout there. I jokingly say, you get about 100 of them, so you might as well call them.
Yep. Can't take them with you. So down 6. If you're Shenandoah, you've got to commit 3 more fouls before you put LaPel on the line. 1:57 to go. What point do you start giving some here?
You know what I don't necessarily give them, but what I become is really uber aggressive on defense. What do you got to lose?
Put the onus on the officials.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, good point.
A, we may get a steal. We may get a tip ball away. Or if we get a foul, who cares? I mean, we got to give them anyway, right?
Right.
So I just get really, really aggressive.
So after the turnover, Whitty cannot run the sideline. He's anchored on the inbound. They look long, and Tomlinson jumped the passing lane, almost stole it away, but it went off the end line. So it'll be another LaPel inbound, but now it comes on the baseline.
Good example right there. I mean, just go after it, guys. I mean, even if you got to leave your feet, tip it to a teammate.
Ball inbound in the corner to Cash. He's trying to get free and does to Whitty. And now Whitty navigates the forecourt. Cash has an avenue to the rim. He put it up and got the roll. First points for Cash since the first quarter. And the lead's back to 8 inside 100 seconds to go.
Shenandoah needs a shot. First good open look, they got to go.
Tomlinson out by the timeline. He's trapped and it's poked out of bounds by Cash.
Yeah, Jaden Cash just absolutely telegraphed that or was reading it. I mean, you could see him breaking from inside the key.
Mitchell bouncing the forecourt to Hubbard. And he's got himself in a double team, threw it right at Mitchell's feet. He tries to throw it to a teammate. Instead, he turns it over. So 2 straight turnovers for LaPel after they had cut a 15-point lead to 6. And now LaPel in the catbird seat with 1:05 to go, up 8, and the basketball.
Yeah, and I was going to say, too, now LaPel is being awfully aggressive on defense, a lot of reaching. That's what you don't want if you're LaPel. You don't want the clock to stop. You don't want them at the free throw line.
Simons comes on for Carpenter for LaPel. Inside a minute to go. Cash working side to side. Passes out of the trap. Simons to Whitty on the baseline. Whitty has it back. Working against Brookbank and the foul given with 40 6/10 to go. Shenandoah needs 2 more fouls, however, to put LaPel at the line. That's Brookbank's 3rd and the team's 5th.
Yeah, and again, normally you hear me say it all the time, don't reach in and don't reach in. They're always going to call. Well, now you do reach in. This is where you go ahead and you take those chances if you're Shenandoah.
Cash in the backcourt with Dimick on him. Here comes the double team as he's killed his dribble. Whitty, bounce underneath the Judge, and he puts it up and in. Bodie Judge with 7, 6 of it in the second half. And Kevin Cherry calls time. Full timeout with 27 seconds to go. LaPel's up 10. 27 seconds left.
And I'm sure Coach Cherry wants to let his kids know what we're doing, remind them, we don't want fouls. We're up 10. I think I would have let him play this out a little bit.
Well, this is the second game of the week for LaPel. The Bulldogs will not be in action again until next Friday night. They'll be on the road at Madison Grant, Kevin Cherry's former stomping grounds, where he was the head coach there 2 years ago. Meanwhile, Shenandoah will be right back at it tomorrow night at Randolph Southern.
LaPel will also be visiting Chrysler Fieldhouse in Newcastle on February 21st, and I believe we have that game on 9 Star.
Yep. You mentioned both of these teams have kind of a target team in their sectional. For LaPel, it's Wapahani, who's 17-1 and ranked 3rd in the state in Class 2A. For Shenandoah, it's Northeastern, who's kind of the lead dog of that group at 15-4.
Well, Northeastern has just been solid for a long, long time, and the name of their coach escapes me, but he's a really good basketball coach, and he's a Northeastern grad, and they're just always hard to beat. When Shenandoah had that really good team with Dave McCullough, it seemed like Northeastern gave him all kinds of fits every year in the section.
Brookbank can run the baseline after the make, but the Raiders have to be in a hurry.
LaPel extending the defense past the 10-second line, trapping out top.
Brookbank, no space to get it. Now he shoots a fadeaway three that almost banks in. Rebounded by Whitty. And Cash wrapped up and fouled in the deep backcourt by Hellman with 9 6/10 seconds to go. Team foul 6, so a non-shooting situation. Next Raider foul will put the Bulldogs at the line for 1-1, but time is just about run out on the home team tonight.
Yeah, I got to think if LaPel gets this ball inbounds, you're just going to. Oh, what? Actually, Shenandoah had 6 guys on the floor there for just a second.
They did. The horn buzzed right as the ball was put in.
Troxel was trying to check in as the official was handing the ball to the player out of bounds. So once play started, Troxel thought, oh my gosh, I'm in. And so he runs out on the floor. And very quickly, Coach Ellsworth says, no, get off the court.
Well, they call the foul, so they're going to act like what you just described never happened.
Exactly. It
well,
should
hang on a second, though. Now,
it should have been a technical.
Now our crew chief is going to maybe bring things to a halt, and they are going to adjudicate this. Nope, they aren't.
It's a technical foul for having 6 guys on the floor.
That's what Kevin Cherry is
Kevin's like, look, just let's go home. Somebody go start the bus. Do whatever you want to do.
Foul's on Demick. Cash shoots a 1-1 here with 7 seconds left. Free throw up and in. Cash's 8th double-figure scoring game of the season. So Shenandoah cut a 15-point lead down to 6. But the Raiders have not scored since the 2:28 mark. Meanwhile, LaPel has added 5 points to its lead, all they need to put this one in the bank and get back to 500, just 7 seconds away.
You know, that confusion too, Robin, and you see it every now and then. I think it's that proliferation of travel ball where, substitutions are made by just saying, hey, Bill, I got you, and you come off. Nobody checks in. Kids sometimes get a little lazy with that.
And the three is tossed in by Hellman right before the final horn. And that will settle the score up at 49-41. But LaPel with the win evens its mark at 10-10, while Shenandoah sees its 2-game winning streak snapped, dropped to 7-11. 2-6 are on the home court. Some final thoughts here tonight, Jim?
Again, just too sloppy really on both sides. I can't imagine either coach is going to be thrilled to death with what they saw tonight, but it was an opportunity to get varsity competition, opportunity to get better. And you talked about there's a team in both of these teams sectional that they're really aiming toward. So let's just keep our eyes on that prize and try to move on.
Brody Judge led LaPel with 18 points. Carson Brookbank 18 for the home team. And again, we want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you, partner, as well. It was a blast. Enjoyed
absolutely.
it. Thank you to John Painter and our fine crew tonight with us here on 9 Star TV, and thank you to you, the listener, for spending part of your Friday night with us. Again, our final from Shenandoah, LaPel defeats the Raiders by the score of 49-41. Until we talk to you next time, on behalf of our entire 9 Star TV crew, this has been Rob Brown saying so long, everybody.